Hello, America. So I'm back. I didn't go very far. So I wanted to talk about again I didn't know her name. So her name is Crystalline Curzon or something like that, and she has Crystalline Curzon, and she has her a page talking about swirling. So she's the one that has the swirling. And I was watching a video of hers. It was like a couple of weeks ago, and I was hearing her um, talk about a video where um, a so there's a black chick and she's dating like a white dude, and he's calling her names, racist names, just like everything you could think of, the N word. And I guess he was a big Trump supporter, and she said she wasn't voting for Trump. And it was just like, he was telling her she should go back to Africa with her. It was the most. But so this is a reason that I wanted to talk to you too about dating white men, and why I say not many women not many black women cannot date white men and actually have a high self-esteem and high self-worth. This girl um she's like not saying anything to him while he rants and raves and call her the N-word. I assure you she never had the conversation that I'm telling you guys to have, you ladies, and even the men. If you are going to date interracially, then you need to ask some questions. And had she bothered to ask this dude about white supremacy and about racism, she wouldn't have ended up in that situation. She really wouldn't have ended up in a situation where some dude's yelling at her and calling her the N-word. Because you already know, once you put a guy on the spot, you're going to know within 2 seconds if they are white supremacists. Let me tell you right now, 100%. There's like no chance that they're not a white supremacist, but you're gonna know for sure within 2 seconds of asking him, "What do you feel about white supremacy? Where's your stance?" She wouldn't have dealt with it. And then so I hear this, like, when I'm watching the video. I didn't watch the video of the girl that the girl put on YouTube. I watched it on Crystalline's channel. So I got her, Crystalline, talking about it and then putting parts of it in. And I just heard Crystalline really giving him a pass and just making every kind of excuse in the world as to why he is making racial remarks. Like, well, maybe he had a bad day. I don't know, but maybe he has borderline personality disorder, or maybe he has like bipolar or something, which none of those um mental illnesses makes you racist. There is not one mental illness that makes you call people the N-word. There just isn't. I'm gonna change my seating. I'm sorry. My back is not good right now. So there's no excuse for a guy to make racial remarks at all, ever. But you can see that a white guy dating you does not make him unracist. It does not make him a white non. It does not make him a non-white supremacist. It doesn't. It doesn't take that away. It's in there. It's in their core. It is in everything about them. It is in every white guy, pretty much globally. They're white supremacists, and it is in their very fiber to be white supremacist terrorist. They can try to go against that And some can just really struggle with it for a long time, but it's when it's in your nature, it's in your nature. And I feel like it is in their nature to be white supremacist terrorist. When we choose to give them a pass on things that we would not give black men a pass on, that's when you're getting into the danger zone. You can't First, you can't put them on the same playing field because it's just not happening. Black men are not even remotely given the same opportunities as white men. I don't care how many times they say they do. I don't care what any white person says. It's not true. Do your homework. It's not true. And I know, like, a lot of black women are thinking, okay, well, black guys are dating white women, and yeah, they do a lot. And that's, to me, that's not good either. I don't think date her, one night, hit and quit, whatever. Have fun as much as you want. If it's a fetish, do not have kids with them, because this is when we have real problems. For instance, on a personal note, and I am going to try not to share too many personal notes, but this I have to share this one. My brother has two. I'm going to talk about two of the kids first. Two boys that were raised by a white woman, and she raised them to be white women. Like, I'm not saying that they're gay or trans or anything like that, but I'm saying when you have a black child with a white woman, and then you leave that white woman to raise those black children, they're going to be raised as white women. But when they get out in society, society is going to treat them like black men. But they're not going to know how to deal with it. They're going to be, it's in their psyche, it's like, okay, well, my mom's white, and my grandparents are white, and so they think that they should be treated, or even that they're going to be treated as at least half white, so they would at least get some of the benefits of being white. And it's like, well, that's not true. That's not how it happens. Excuse me. Lips got a little bit dry. And so now there's two adults, at 18 and 19 or whatever. I'm guessing that's their age. I know they're past 18. But I remember growing up with them, and they wouldn't I didn't grow up with them, but growing up around them, I was older, obviously, but they would talk about how they can't be around black women because black women have attitudes, and that there are certain places, areas that they wouldn't go to because there was a lot of black people there. So it really didn't matter if they're black men and black women, they just felt like they couldn't be around black people. And that's because they're raised by a white woman to be white with their white grandparents. It's it's messed up to the child's psyche when they're living in there's two different worlds. They're living in two different worlds, and they're trying to navigate through it. And on the white side, they don't care if you came from their daughter or whatever. That kid to them is black. And if they're racist, that kid's the N-word. It doesn't matter. Like, people think, oh, well, if they have a child and it's part of their family, then they can't be racist. Well, no. You having a kid by a black person and then bringing them into a white family does not change that white family. That white family is still going to make racial remarks. That white family is still going to hate black people. Now the only difference is now that child has to live in that world. Now that child is going to have more self-hate than if they had to just, than you would regularly have living in a white supremacist society. Now it has more hate because now it's it's split between two different worlds, and one accept them. I mean, black people, we always accept our nieces and nephews, whatever. They're our family. On the white side, who knows? It's a crapshoot. But if you think, I keep hearing people say, oh, if we just all have a mixed kids, then racism will end. No, it won't. That's not how it works. So on like in one of my situations with my son, he has an aunt that is racist, um, which comes as no surprise, white supremacist, a Trump supporter, big time. So people think if they have, again, having a black kid into the family of white people, they are who they are. They're still going to be white supremacist terrorists. That's who they are. It is in their blood. That's what they're going to do. When I say they're, white supremacist terrorists, which is, I firmly believe in that, and I know it sounds harsh and it sounds, they're strong words, and I firmly believe they're the right words to use. I don't think every white guy has malicious intent. By no means, I don't. I think some are kind and some are open-minded, and I've had some great experiences, some really nice experiences, but I never came into the situation thinking that everything's going to be great and that me being in this situation is going to cure racism, because that's just not true. And you can never think that one race of guys is going to be so much better than the other, because that's not true. The one huge thing that you're not going to get from a white guy is he's not going to understand the world that you live in. And that's big. And you know what? I didn't even think of that until I got older. I didn't even notice. For me, it was just like, it sounds cliche, but it's never been about race to me. It was just like, you date who you like, and that's it, and that's just who you date. But again, like my childhood and my sisters and my brothers, we were not raised in a like around a bunch of different races and racism and colorism and stuff like that. We had a very enclosed childhood, and so we were not exposed to a lot of that stuff. You just dated who you liked, and who you liked was who you liked. It wasn't about, oh, I'm gonna date this person because they're white. Um, it wasn't like, I didn't learn about colorism or race, really like race like that, until I was in 6th grade. By then your most of your brain's already developed when it comes to like um, I think judgment, a lot of judgment, a lot of hate. When people when people teach their kids hate, it's taught at a very young age, because it needs to be taught before you can make decisions for yourself. And so we weren't taught that, and so we didn't have that. But a lot of people now, I feel like, are trying to punish black guys by dating white men. And I don't think, not only is it not fair, it's not, it's just not right, and it doesn't make sense. And what people are trying to offer and trying to advertise isn't correct, and that it's dangerous. when people are doing that and they're not giving you the information and telling you what things you need to do to protect yourself and what you need to do to look out for yourself and to make sure you are not dating a white supremacist and that you do not procreate with white supremacist terrorists, then that is dangerous and it's irresponsible, and I don't think it should be done. You should not have a whole channel dedicated to telling black women to swirl. Like, it's obnoxious first, and like, white men do not need to be lifted on a higher pedestal. White men already think they're better than black men, and now you have this whole channel devoted to telling black women to date white men, to putting white men on a higher pedestal and saying that these men are better, that these men are smarter, that these men are going to treat you better, because it's not true, and it's not educated information that's being given. It's not. It's based on like lolly dolly popsicles. It's not. It's just not right. So I'm totally, I feel like I'm in the middle of it, because I don't, on one hand, I think that people should be able to date who they decide they're attracted to. Um and on the other side, I think that dating is something different than um having a child with, or really kind of merging your entire existence with. Doing that and not telling your viewers about the dangers, because there's a lot of dangers in regards to dating white supremacists. You need to realize that that is a big thing, and you definitely don't want to have kids with them. Like, I'll do another video on that, but that there's a lot of incidents that come to play when you decide to have a child with a white supremacist, because then it's right there at your door and it's at your core, and you can't escape it. Then you can't, because you have to deal with that person for the rest of your life. So that needs to be just wiped from your mind. We need to not do that. We as black people should not, because we're in for black men, if you are having a child with a white woman, you're giving a black child to a white supremacist. You are giving a black child to a white supremacist. Whether you want to think of it like that or not, because we all know who raised the child. Kids are usually raised by their mothers. So when you're giving black girls and black boys to white supremacists, that is horrible for the black community. That needs to be stopped. Like, I don't want to say go get an abortion, but at this point, that might be the best thing for you to do. And I know that's hard to hear, and just me saying it makes me want to cry. But knowing that that child is going to be in a white supremacist family, that's child abuse in itself. It really is. And that's for the black man. That's for, I know it's bad for black women too, but it is worse for black men, because you're giving that child to a white woman. And white women should not be raising black children. They just shouldn't. Those kids will not know anything when it comes to being black. They won't know what's going on. They're not going to know what to look out for. They're not going to know why, security and and the mom's following them around, but not Heidi and Jody over there. They're not gonna know why, because mom taught us we were white, and that's not true. That's not a reality. We need to stop doing that to our children. White women usually are okay with doing drugs while they're pregnant. They're okay with drinking caffeine. They're okay with popping pills. It just puts your baby in such a dangerous environment. Like, it is child abuse, and it's hard to say it as that, but it is. It's child abuse. And I know I'm talking about the men right now, because I swear it's like this epidemic of white trash, white supremacist terrorist women who are disgusting. And these people, these are the women that hate black women. They hate black women. And that's why they're with the black men, and they feel like, ooh, I stole your man, blah, blah, blah. Please. Like, really, please. But now you're having some racist, outward racist white supremacists raising your black child. Now, like, how stupid do you look now? Just really stupid. And it is upsetting. And this is one of the things that really upsets me. You don't do that. So black men, you need to knock that off. You need to just stop. Like, it doesn't make any sense for black men to do that. I don't understand what a benefit it would be for a black man to date a white woman, a white woman, or to have a child with a white woman. There's no benefit. White women don't control anything. They don't run anything. They're not strong. Like, as a person, black women are way stronger. So it makes no sense to me that a black man would even want to be with a white woman. Unless you're like lazy and think they're gonna take care of you. And I mean, they do. They'll take care of you, because they have no respect for you anyway. Because they're already taught that you're lazy. They were taught that you're lazy and that you're good for nothing but sex. And so that's what they'll let you be. Good for nothing but sex. And if that's the role that you want to sit in, you need to think about getting some mental help. Talk to a counselor, because there's something going on that is not right. And I think that with all black men, I really do. Because I haven't met any black men that date white women that did not like talk bad about black women. Like, their reason for dating white women will be because black women. Dotty dotty dot. But I've never heard, like, besides this crystalline chick, I've never heard a black woman say, I'm dating a white man because black men are blah 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 blah. I'm sure some do, but it's an epidemic. Black men, that is always their reason, is because they can't deal with black women. If you are black men who's supposed to be the king, but you can't deal with your queen, then is that something wrong with the queen, or does that mean something's wrong with the king? And not the king should go then marry the peasant. Like, what is that? That is lazy. It's lazy and it's disgusting. If you just want to date white women because that's who you're attracted to, whatever. You still shouldn't have any kids with her. Like, if you want you and her to go do your thing, whatever. Don't bring another child into it, because then you're taking your problems and giving them off to this child, and now this child is going to have even more problems, because now this child's mommy is white. And she knows nothing about how it feels to be black. Nothing. She can read as many books as she wants to. And most of them don't even bother doing that. A lot of them don't even bother learning how to do their child's hair. So now you have a black girl that doesn't know how to do her hair. It's sickening and it's sad and it needs to stop. And we need to, no, swirling, no. Let's say no to swirling because that's not a good idea. Leave the swirling to the ice cream, okay? That's what we need to do. But having these little children being raised by white supremacist terrorists is not a good, like, what are we doing? What are we really doing? Are we trying to make the next generation better or just push as far back as we can possibly get? Because we're dealing with terrorism, okay? So we're not gonna be. We need to be at a war against terrorism. That's where we need to be right now. War against terrorism. Okay, not shack up with terrorists. Those are two different things. I don't know, but we're gonna really dig into this whole swirling thing. I think I'm gonna do that because I really want to know what's being pushed out there and kind of be that other side that gives you the reality of what it is to date white men. Because I know with I think what I got of it was that Crystalline has dated one white guy. So even if she's dated one, like, why are you trying to act like you're now the you're the, oh, I can't find what word I'm looking for, but she's not the professor of what it is to date white men. She really isn't. So I'm gonna do some research and see what's being put out there and see if I can maybe give you guys the whole picture so that you're not just getting the cotton candy, this is great, la la la, because that's not the reality. And so I want you guys to see it from both sides. Um, so if I can answer questions and I can break down some of the videos and shine a light on some of the bull crap that is being put out there, that would be good. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. If you guys have any questions that you want answered, um, I can definitely answer them to the best of my ability. If you want me to address a certain issue, I would definitely be willing to do a video on anything that's requested that has something to do with this topic. Not anything. So just kind of keep it on interracial dating, or race mixing, or swirling. I don't know if I'm allowed to say swirling. So if I'm not, could somebody tell me? Because I don't want to get sued for saying swirling. I don't know. Anyways, thank you so much, and like, subscribe, share, and I hope you enjoy this one. Thank you.